black Filipino. So was it Mayweather or Pacquiao?
Okay, I got one. Okay. So between you guys, is one of your dicks like really small or really big? Or...
No, we're not even gonna ask. I mean, wait. But come on, I know y'all see. Is Cornell West looking ass over here? Wait. I know you're radical, brother, but yo, can I please buy you some conditioner?
Yeah, Shanti, yo, I'm in this Indian dance team. Like, can you teach me the Indian bobblehead?
So, is that real hair or just weed?
Yo, check this out.
Oh, hey guys. Guess what? Being Blasian is like living the best of both worlds. You see, I'm a straight A student, state champion wrestler, and Zen master. And of course, A plus. But I'm also delinquent, timid, violent, D minus. What's being Blasian anyway?
Sharanti? There's no A at the end. It's just Sharanti. Yeah, you got it. Oh, my love. Gunagolaka? Goon. It's like my nickname. Oh, sorry, yeah. Dilaka. Yeah, got it. Oh, it's from Sri Lanka. No, it's an island south of India in Asia. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not Indian. It's just an island south of. Okay. Yeah, I do eat curry and watch Bollywood films, but I'm not. Okay, cool. 2 separate countries. Okay. Oh, my middle name. Well, it's Pauline. And it's like an old lady's name, right? Oh, yeah, no, it's my dad's mom's name. Like my grandma? Oh, no. I'm black. You think I would be annoyed having to go through that script every time I introduce myself. But really, it's not that bad. I mean, no, I know Sri Lanka is a part of Asia. It's just weird having to claim something so new to me. Because in all honesty, I never called myself Blasian until I came to Atlanta. Can I be honest with you guys? Okay. I would rather be called Blunkin. You get it, right? Because I'm black, and then I'm Sri Lankan. I'm Blunkin. Oh, but wait. I would still have to go over the pronunciation of my name, where it comes from, its geographical location, that I'm not Indian, and that I'm still black, and I'm gonna... Yeah, guys. I'm Blasian.
Hawaii, melting pot of the world.
paradise of multicultural harmony. The land where cultural continuities get thrown into a big pot to make chop suey. The land where languages turn from mabuhay, como está, o genki desu ka, mahalo to, hey brother, how's it, huh? Hold it, let my Japanese self crunch some numbers for you. Okay, approximately 1 in 4 persons living in Hawaii identify as multiracial, and let me tell you, a hell of a lot more are multi-ethnic. Just ask John Kimsong Kealohilani Tamura, for example, and he's not even Hawaiian, okay? I am chop suey. I'm noodles and cabbage and spam and shoyu and onions, because let's be serious, I smell a little funny sometimes, but Hawaii is full of chop suey. We've got Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Filipinos, Portuguese, Popolos, Haoles, Polynesians, Micronesians, bananas, Oreos, and my personal favorite, Katonks. So, I mean, I'm Blackanese American, but if everybody else misled that, I suppose I can fit in too, huh? Yeah, I mean, well, that's how it would seem on the surface. Let me take you back to '05. Me in Lids, Hawaii at Ala Moana Shopping Center, and I'm wearing FUBU jeans, an LRG shirt, and I'm about to buy my very first fitted cap. The city I repped? Los Angeles, California, of course, the city of Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Ren, and Yella. Yeah, I was a nigga with attitude. And hey man, don't you give me that face? Cause I was a loped out gangster set tripping banger, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger, fool! I was crumping, you know, getting buck. And my dad, he busted through the door and said, son, what the hell are you doing? Cut that gangster shit out. You think you in a gang or something? Nah, Dad, I'm just being me. I'm black, aren't I? You can imagine the dismay of my father to realize that his own son had fallen into the terrible misconception of a society from which he had flown 6,000 miles away from in order to attempt to instill in his son what it truly meant to be a black man.
People say, oh, I forget you're black, or I only look at you as Asian. But I have brown skin like you. I'm not black enough, but my hair has a curly pattern just like yours. See, I can rhyme sometimes. Check it. At age 14, she wakes up, drowns her face in makeup, only to shape up her looks. But that's a whole nother story. See, I can dance with my thighs and my hips, and my lips are full, and I speak Ebonics too, like, yo, check out that pimped out ride over Chip. But I'm still not black enough. Can my features or my dialect tell you if I'm enough of anything? If I could tell you where my African blood came from, could you do the same? And no, I'm not trying to say to totally dismiss my ethnicity, but in all actuality, I'm just Sinisa. Not just black, not just Asian, just Sinisa. And yeah, I'm good at math, but so is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And no, I can't drive, but I know you've seen Tokyo Drift. You can't tell me what I do or what I'm good at simply by what I look like. You can't tell me if I'm enough of anything. I'm enough of me. Sinisa Lene.
When you first see me, you'd probably think I'm Asian. And I am. I'm Asian. I'm Vietnamese, but I'm also a quarter Caribbean. You see, both my parents were born and raised in Vietnam, but my dad's dad is black. He's from this tiny island out in the Caribbean. And he met my grandma because he was serving in the French army and he was stationed in Vietnam. My mom used to say that his skin was as dark as Cafe Dan. Growing up in Orange County, I didn't know any black people. I was surrounded by white and Asian faces. So blackness was really a foreign concept to me. Telling people that I was black was like telling people that I was a bisexual. It was kind of like my first queer woman's mixer. I'd gotten this new plaid flannel and I was buttoning it up in the mirror. But I really looked at myself and I thought, what will people think? How will they see me? Am I butch enough? Am I femme enough? Or better yet, am I black enough? Am I Asian enough? Over time, I started to be more comfortable with who I am and stopped caring so much about what other people think. I realized it's actually kind of cool that my family comes from all around the world, from Vietnam, China, Guadeloupe, Martinique, France, Australia, America. Now that I'm more comfortable with my Blasian identity, I get this choice whether to come out as black anytime someone asks me, so what are you? Or where are you really from? I also get to point out that questions like those stem from the misconception that Asians are perpetual foreigners. Even though we've been around for hundreds of years, I'm not any more or less black because I have Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd on my iPod. I'm not any more or less Asian because I don't listen to J-pop or watch K-dramas. My race isn't dependent on my ability to speak Vietnamese or Ebonics. I am who I am because that's how I was made, and that's how I choose to be.
Yellow fever is approaching an all-time high, reported by NPR. According to statistics from heterosexual dating app research, Asian women are preferred over all women by men of all races, except for Asian men. This epidemic can be equated to the sexual phenomenon known as jungle fever, as it applies to black men. Strange how two groups of people can cause such medical concern with just their physical appeal. Yellow fever, jungle fever. If my mom is Asian and my dad is black, and they're both factors in spreading these diseases, does that make me fatally attractive? I mean, seriously though, it seems like my attractiveness is just heightened by the magical mixture of these two identities. My petite structure and docile face from my mother, my hair, my hips, my lips from my father. I'm so exotic that they have yet to diagnose what exactly that fever is that so many men seem to be coming down with every time they're around me. I mean, they start to lose their balance, they kind of sweat. Some of them can't even talk straight. I don't know what it is, but it must be serious. According to research, black women get the lowest response on online dating. So, the attractiveness of one feminine other might not be enough to cancel out the feminine other that doesn't seem to be wanted by people. All I know is that when someone catches my eye, no matter what race they are, I always seem to find myself having to ask still, does he like black women? I find myself having to ask for all of the guys that drink a little too much liquor and when they're really feeling it and start to list off the girls that even though they write off all the other black girls, they still consider me. Just for a minute, because I'm attractive, but only until they realize that I'm black too. I have to ask for the guys that are tweeting about role-playing slave and master, because somehow that offensive kink will get more attention on dating apps than the kink in my hair. I have to ask, does he like black women? And I have to be prepared to hear that the answer is yes, especially mixed girls like you. But that's okay. I've been prepared for that every time I hear that Black and Asian mixed babies are the most beautiful babies in this world, because I know that we'll grow up to be the most beautiful, most fetishized Asian, most hypersexualized Black, most exoticized, most controversial, most confused people in this dating pool.
Welcome to America, the place where cultures clash, the melting pot. And somewhere in the center of that melting pot, you'll find me being Malcolm, Chung, Litsapi, and... You know, I lost a part of me a long time ago when my ancestors were forced to assimilate. Sometimes I really think that people do not care when populations disappear. Maybe they don't know. I mean, there is that statistic that by the year 2020, the entire Gaza Strip will become uninhabitable. That's home to 1.5 million people, and that's unfathomable. I mean, what do people even see me as? Do they see me as an Asian man? Do they realize that their tech empires are built on the backs of Asian struggle, pain, and suicide? And then there's that statistic in the US. Every 28 hours, another black person dies by the hand of a vigilante or a police officer or whatever. Rukia Boyd, Freddie Jones, Eric Garner, Tarika Wilson, Mike Brown, Ayanna Jones. It's a little strange to have to reiterate that Black Lives Matter, or rather, Black trans lives matter. Does my life matter? Or rather, do I need to reiterate that my life matters in hopes that other people will relinquish their fear of me? Do people see me as a black man? Do people otherize me? Am I scary because I'm different? Am I dangerous? Am I threatening? Well, maybe that's why they came after me after I got into Stanford. Cowards. They sent me anonymous messages saying, Malcolm, you're a smart person, but you only got in because you're black. They failed to mention that I'm part Korean, or that I'm also part Cherokee. Hell, they didn't even mention that I'm French. Maybe they don't know. Yeah, maybe they don't know. But would they care?
Ah, お久しぶりです。お元気ですか？あ、よかった。あ、はい、僕も元気です。1月12日帰る。はい。graduation 切符 when and how many? 知らない。ごめん。はい。It was good to see you too. This is typically how I greet my Japanese relatives as they come over to my family's house to celebrate our annual memorial service. My dad, typically a people person, stays quieter than usual as my aunt, uncle, and cousins all chatter in Japanese. My mom listens, but replies in English. Hey, Julia, おご飯持ってる? Yeah, I finally have it this time. ああ、よかった。去年忘れちゃったね. Yeah, I know. It was embarrassing. Like we had to go to the store and buy the microwavable kind. As my mom talks to my aunt, my dad takes this moment to make small talk with my uncle as he prepares the shrine. My whole Japanese family speaks perfect English, but I guess in the heat of the moment, they forget that my dad and older brother don't understand a lick of Japanese. My dad always jokingly says they could be talking shit. I assure him they aren't. As the ceremony begins, everybody takes their seats, pressing beaded bracelets between the hands, some of us with Buddhist text. My uncle recites the passages completely from memory. My aunt and cousins, they read the kanji text under their breaths. My mom simply sits listening to my uncle's chanting. And Marlon and I, well, we scramble to read the hiragana subtitles as quickly as possible. I'd say we get a little better every year. As for my dad and older brother, they just sit there waiting for the final bell to ring, signaling the end of the ceremony. I remember what it was like to be in my first memorial service. I always wondered if I was Japanese enough to be sitting there. But I mean, my dad was sitting right there too. But soon, my uncle will no longer be able to administer this ritual. Am I Japanese enough to take his place? Am I Japanese enough for my Japanese relatives who don't even know I exist? Was I Japanese enough for my grandparents, whom we remember at this service? Were all the Japanese songs and classes enough to satisfy them before they passed? Before my Oji-chan passed away, he did something very symbolic. At the last memorial service before his death, he presented my father with 2 large bottles of sake, imported from Japan. He had never officially accepted my father as a part of his family, but I'd like to think of this as his way of saying, you're Japanese enough.
Amaga? Yeah, how many? I can eat. Operanja. Oh, yes, ma'am. How many? I have no idea what you're saying. No way. No, you didn't. Grandma, you're crazy. No, really. Yeah. Amaga? Yeah, how many? I can take a snack. Operanjo? Okay. How many? I know Grandpa has Alzheimer's and everything, but he's always chasing me and Tasia around with the hanger like he has no idea who we are. And I mean, I have almond eyes just like the both of you. Amaga? No, Grandma, I'm full. Operanjo? How many? I'm gonna be really sad when you leave for North Carolina. I mean, who am I gonna watch Korean dramas with? Even though I have no idea what they're saying. Why didn't you teach me Korean? Huh? No, Grandma, I'm full. Yes, ma'am. How many? I'm so excited to be visiting you in North Carolina. I heard we're going to Grandpa's gravesite. Macjo? Yes, Grandma, we have the beer. Grandpa loved him some beer. Drink about half a pack and start singing, "No mimasu, no mimasu," even though he's Korean. Alaska? Yeah, Grandma, I really wish you could come back to Alaska with us. How many? Don't cry. Me and Tasia will be back way before you start chasing us with hangers, as if you've never bathed us, fed us, or watched us grow into the woman we are today. Amaga? No, Grandma, I'm only starving to understand you. Opera Anjo? I sit at attention with the desire to only ask you questions that you can't give me the answers to. Amaga? Opera Anjo? Hamani? Konsanida? Srangheyo?
I'm sick of dating black women. I'm done. You want to know the truth of the matter? I'm not Christian. And to be clear, I know not all black women are Christian, and I know not all Christians would have treated me this way, but for a moment in time, that had become my reality. But you didn't know when I was singing gospel songs with you in the car. You didn't know when you invited me to attend church with you last Sunday. I mean, to you I was kind, funny, had good character, I was of good moral standing, but then you asked me, and I said unapologetically, without second thought, I'm Buddhist. But you didn't hear me. You heard, I'm not Christian, not right, not saved, no good. Slowly you came back to reality, and I stood there watching you, waiting for your response. And I knew what it was going to be anyway. You said, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I waited for you to ask for an explanation, and you didn't. And that was okay, because I was tired of justifying my religious beliefs anyway, but I knew that what I had said would glaze you over, crystallize in time, and eventually you would ask what it is exactly that I believed in. And you would rediscover that we had so much in common, that we shared the same morals, the same values, and you could rest easy knowing that the man you had chosen was of good character. But then your parents came down, and what were you supposed to tell them anyway? That the man you were dating, whom you loved, who was not Christian but was good nonetheless? No. They didn't hear you. They heard, he's not Christian, not right, not saved, not baptized, no good. So we grew apart. You deterred by your parents, us by our lack of trust. No, your lack of faith in me for the absence of mine. I tried to grasp onto what fragments remained, tried to make sense of what was happening, why things had become so black and white between us when we had been loving each other in full, vibrant color. My own parents' upbringing had influenced my decision not to become Christian, and I had simply made the wrong one. You tried to tell me that everything would be okay, that none of this was my fault, but how could I believe you when every day I looked into the mirror, I wondered if I was looking at the devil himself? In my own Buddhist terms, I had become the ultimate temptation from which you had fled to become spiritually pure, released yourself of your desires, cleansed yourself of me.
I'm at this summer camp, and my Korean roommate tells me, I'm so glad that you're not black, because black people kind of smell. That wasn't the first time I heard a racist comment against blacks from an Asian. I hear, Yeah, she's pretty for a black girl. And why do black people have to be so loud all the time? Shoot. I even hear it from my mom. This one time she was driving to get gas and she sees a black man pumping gas into his car. And she turns the car around and says, let's go somewhere else. It's dangerous here. Now this time I was like, hold up. How are you going to be racist when you married a black dude? Okay, a half black dude. All right, I didn't say it like that because, she's an Asian mom and all, so I would have been whooped or disinherited or something. But she responds, your dad's not really black. And besides, I was just scared. I guess she had a point. I mean, he did grow up in Vietnam. And even though he was bullied for his curlier hair and his darker skin, he was culturally Vietnamese. But I don't think that if he were to get stopped by the police, or if someone was thinking about pumping gas at the station next to him, that he'd be treated like he was just Vietnamese. This one time, I was on the subway in New York, and this group of black men were just talking amongst themselves, and I overheard one of them say, "I want me an Asian baby mama. I don't want to wife her or nothing, but we'd make some cute ass babies." I mean, I would think that Asians would get it. People are racist to us all the time. So why would we want to be racist to other people? Recently, my friend was just jaywalking around Stanford's campus, and this guy rolls down his window and yells out, "You can't do that here. Go back to China." Some people think that we're all well off and educated, but poverty, depression, and gambling are huge issues, among others, in the Asian community. Recent immigrants like the Hmong and Cambodian communities, who don't all fit into the model minority stereotype, have higher poverty rates than Latinos and African Americans. Being a woman of color, particularly a mixed race woman of color, has made me more conscious of everyday racism. But I don't think it's that hard to understand. I mean, just step back and question what you might say. Am I being conscious of the feelings of others? Is what I'm saying based off of stereotypes or overgeneralizations? Would I say this in a room full of black people or Asian people, Latinos, Native Americans? It's really that simple. Now, I don't think that I'm going to ever stop hearing racist comments, but I couldn't help but smile when I heard my Korean roommate say at the end of the summer, I didn't really know any black people before coming here. They're different than I thought.
For as much as colonialism, imperialism, and militarism has destroyed, for all the pain and suffering that it's caused, for all the traditions that have been destroyed by assimilation, for all the people who no longer have a voice, every single time that I have to explain where my ancestors are from, I'm forced to confess that part of being Blasian is knowing that my existence is impossible without all of the above. And it's not just me. Practically every Blasian I know is a product of Asian American culture and Black American culture. It's not all bad though. Actually, it's kind of cool being able to straddle two different cultures. It's not all hunky-dory either, but very few people can actually enjoy two different cultures. My best friend, Christopher Hiroshi Sharp, whom I've always known as Roshi, we've been united in Blasianness since the youthful age of 5. Yeah. I mean, Roshi was studying Japanese at the same time that I was in Korean school. We even did Taekwondo together. Yeah, the good old days. I remember one day we would be jamming it out at parties, doing the two-step, cranking that Soulja Boy, and the very next day we would be enjoying Naruto, playing Pokemon, and watching Bleach. Now, it wasn't all fun though, but we really felt like we were embracing our cultures. Us being young, Black, and Asian. You know, it's a sometimes contradictory existence though. My mother was telling me about the LA riots. The police beat Rodney King to a pulp. And in Korean, the day is known as Suigu, known for 429, short for April 29th, day it all started. I remember seeing images of my Black brothers and sisters protesting and looting in the streets. And rightfully so. But sometimes those businesses were the businesses of my Korean brothers and sisters. And the LAPD could care less. They left the business owners to protect their own businesses. I know my Korean brothers and sisters weren't going to let their livelihoods get took. I saw images of them being on top of their buildings with Uzis and AKs. I'm just glad I wasn't around. My two communities at war with one another, hurting themselves, destroying themselves, when really they're both victims of society's preference for white culture. I would have been torn in agony.
Pacquiao is fighting Marquez for the 4th time. I walked downstairs from my best friend's room to get more food because you know Filipino parties. 5% party, 95% food. Mano po. Hey tita. The woman I just greeted looks at my best friend's mother as though confused by the words coming out of my full lips. Oh, have you met Janae? Si friend ni Ella, Filipina ang kanyang nanay. Her mother is Filipina. In an instant, this stranger's entire posture changes. Her eyes light up, and her initial disappointment with my greeting is dismissed because all of a sudden my skin is more familiar, my slender eyes make sense, and I'm no longer the one-dimensional shade of black she saw 3 minutes ago. I hold a very special place for that look on people's faces when they find out that her mother is Filipina. Because to you, Filipinos, it means that the food you eat is as easy for me to swallow as the cocoa that dusts my cheeks for you when you learn it's diluted with your milk. It means that the tongues you speak fall upon my ears as sweetly as the jazz in my voice for you when you hear it sung through your Magic Sing karaoke. And the skin? We can fix that with some bleach. We have some cream upstairs on that. Yeah, I saw it on your sink. And to you, Black people, my blackness is prettier and wrapped up in a lighter complexion, imported from a faraway land and adorned with nicer trimmings of a foreign appeal. My blackness in and of itself is not a gift to you, so you would rather leave it unopened than receive what you know all too well, what you've been told to hate all too well of yourself. I'm sorry to you both if I do not dance upon hearing the news that my mother is Filipina. My father is Black, and my skin is somewhere in between. If the sneers and the whispers are true, if Southeast Asians are the blacks of Asia, then your commonalities and colorism make more sense, but there is no excuse for the fear on my best friend's face of the disappointment her mother would feel if she stayed in the sun too long. I will not sing that my mother's home country has lightened my skin. This note should not sound so sweet to you. I've heard this tune 1,000 times, and I will not dance to it when you strip it of its rich and dark percussion. I prefer the version where the melodies and the percussions are intertwined. In a rhythm that falls upon your deaf ears, my golden complexion is melodic. Your Southeast Asian, African, Caribbean melanin is melodic. So why don't your eyes light up the same way when you hear it?
I used to despise the idea of being African American. I mean, could you blame me? My black side comes from my father, who wasn't in my life, which is typical, right? So who was supposed to teach me what it meant to be African American? I remember growing up and I had these red streaks throughout my hair, and I hated every strand of them because my dad had a full head of red hair. And these freckles all over my body, I hated every single one of them because he has a full face of freckles. Now, despite my disdain and unwillingness to identify with African American culture, my Sri Lankan mother specifically put me in spaces where I would not only be able to identify with my African American culture, but also appreciate it. And as I grew up, I knew I needed to know what it meant to be black because I'm not just Sri Lankan. Going to Spelman, a historically black women's college, I made the decision to figure out what it meant to be a black woman. And now every time I come home to my mother, who understands what it means to be a minority woman, but not an African American woman, and to my brother, who the only thing he knows about being a black man is the fact that he is one. Well, partially, right? When I come home to these two beautiful people, I have transformed into the black girl. After 18 years, they wonder what happened to me. My brother, he'll joke around and say things like, Shranti, just because you go to a black school doesn't mean that you're black. But Aya, katara handena. Don't you get it? Don't you see the way that they look at us? Don't you feel proud knowing how much our ancestors sacrificed for us to be here? Don't you get it? My mom, she'll say things like, while I may be black, that I'm Sri Lankan first, and then I'm black. But Amma, Mama Uata Adare, I love you, but you just can't teach me this. Claiming my African American culture has nothing to do with my absentee father. It's about understanding a culture I was born into, something that completes me and makes me whole. Because I'm black and I'm Sri Lankan. 100% of the time, all of the time. Guys, but really, Marlon, what about your environment made you think that being black also meant being hood?
Shanti, did you attend a historical black college to make up for the absence of your black father?
Sensei, how can you really know what it's like to be black or Korean when your whole life you've grown up in Alaska?
Malcolm, how can you be fighting for black lives if you're not even racially profiled the same way?
Jessica, you say that you're a proud bisexual, but are you still in the closet about being black?
Julian, did you study Japanese because you were interested in it, or because you wanted to be accepted by your Japanese family?
Yo, Janae, do you think exotification will always define your relationship experience?
What are you? What are you?
What are you?
What are you?
What are you?
What are you?
What are you?
What are you?
I am Julian U. Booker. U being a Japanese translation of the Sanskrit phrase, elbow room. What can I say? I need my space. I'm a scholar, a culture enthusiast, and a student of peace.
I am Sharanti Pauline Gunathilaka. I'm an activist, feminist, environmentalist. I'm a Sri Lankan woman who believes and appreciates in the teachings of Lord Buddha, and an African American woman who believes she should stand at the forefront for environmental and social justice issues.
I am Jessica Lamb. I'm a bioengineering major. My preferred gender pronouns are she and her, and I check both the Asian and the Black boxes.
I am Sinisa Lene Gavin, also known as Sensei. I'm a Spelman graduate, a future actress, and proud teacher of Uncommon Schools, paving the way for our scholars to receive the best education that they deserve.
I am Malcolm Chung Litsapi. Malcolm attesting to the fact that I'm both Black and Muslim. Chung is my grandmother's first name. Litsapi is the name of the person who married my mother before I was born. I know the archetype of an absentee father is Black, but in my case, he's white. Ethnically, I'm Black, Korean, Native American, and French. As for my race, I'm the other.
I am Janae Maynard. I am passion. Passion for music, passion for people, passion for identity. At the end of the day, all I have is my story, as with everyone else. Mine is just a little bit more mixed up.
I am Marlon Go Booker. I'm 5'8", slightly clumsy, and my favorite food is ramen. I'm a world traveler, a purveyor of the arts, and an advocate for peace.
In any culture, there's breath and there's movement.
Got you, Sensei.
Hey, 1, 2, 3.